On April 13th, just before 10 o'clock p.m., officers were called to a residence where a teen was shot in front of the residence by a homeowner.
You know, as a father myself, I wouldn't want to be put into this situation. And I don't even know, I don't even want to lie to you guys and pretend to say that I would be, you know, as calm as I am now if this happened to one of my kids, or how I would react, because that would be a total lie, because I wouldn't even know how to act. And when I read the story about Ralph Yarl, who was 16 years old, being shot in the head by a homeowner, it just seems, it's just heartbreaking. You know, he's, from everything that I've read about Ralph, is that he was a good, decent human being. He was a great musician, and he made a horrible error that ended up possibly costing him his life. And like I said, I don't want to sit there and pretend that if I was the parents of Ralph, that I wouldn't be pissed off, or, you know, running the streets, trying to, you know, bring people to protest. I don't want to sit there and say I know exactly how I would handle this, because, you know, as a parent, we can empathize with another parent, but we really can't ever put ourselves in those positions, because none of us can say, oh, I would act this way, or oh, I would act that way, or forgiveness, or whatever. We can't say that. And to sit there and say that we know exactly how we would act is disingenuous. Unless you've been in these shoes, we can't sit there and say we know everything that we're gonna act. And I hate when people sit there and say, yeah, you know, I would go fire, you know, I'd go get a gun and I'd shoot them, or, oh, I'll do this, or, oh, I'll do that, or I would just stay pat and wait for justice to be served. You know, we can't sit there and say that, because we've never been in these shoes. The only people that could literally sit there and say that they know anything, how they would act to this, be put in Ralph's parents' shoes, is somebody that's been in this situation. I mean, we could try to say that we know, but do we really know? We really don't. So the first thing I want to just say before I get into this story is, I definitely want to send my condolences and my prayers to Ralph, his family, um, even to the shooter's family, because everybody forgets that there is another side to this, that, you know, that is hurting. Nobody wants to just sit there and open fire and shoot somebody or kill somebody. Uh, we have to sometimes, because we know we got to protect our houses, but nobody ever answers the door in every aspect and want to kill somebody. Um, I don't believe that this man is a racist. I don't believe that this man was um, an evil person that would do that. But it did happen. Tragedy did happen. Let's get into this story. An academically gifted teenager was shot in the head twice by a homeowner after he mistakenly went to the wrong house to pick up his younger brothers. Ralph Yarl was attacked outside of a home in Kansas City, Missouri, just a block away from the property his siblings were waiting to be picked up from. He reportedly pulled into the driveway at the home at 10 p.m., rang the doorbell, and was immediately shot in the head. His aunt, Dr. Faith Spoonmore, claims that when he fell to the floor, he was shot again, but miraculously managed to run next door to get to a neighbor for help. The family of the teenager has branded the incident as a hate crime, with Ralph currently recovering from his injuries in the hospital. Thank God he's still alive. Thank God he's still alive. And I really hope and pray that this young man pulls through. And the thing is, I don't want to sit there and say this is a hate crime, or this was done because of racism or anything like that. I don't want to say that. I don't want to be mischaracterized in any of that stuff, because I don't want to be I don't want this channel, I don't want me or Chico's be put into this situation where we're jumping on the bandwagon. Unless the homeowner comes out or they find evidence that the homeowner himself is a racist, I'm not going to put that label on somebody because that's just ridiculous. There's so much more that could happen. It's an 80-year-old freaking man. An 80-year-old man. He could have just answered the door and was afraid. We don't know. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, it's all done on racist. I'm not going to throw that word out there and have it stick to somebody that we don't know. We don't know what the purpose was. We don't know if it was racist. We don't know if it was just a scared 80-year-old man. Rolf, who was aspired to study chemical engineering at the Texas A&M University, was forced to knock on the 3 doors before he was helped. The teenager, who was told to lie on the ground with his hands up despite suffering from the gunshot injuries. Dr. Spoonmore said the man in the home opened the door, looked at my nephew in the eye, and shot him dead in the head. My nephew fell to the ground, and the man shot at him again. The teen is known among his peers for his intellect and for being a musical genius. Rolf is part of his high school's technology student and association and science Olympia team, plays in the marching band, jazz and competition band, is one of the most top bass clarinet players in Missouri. Good job, man. If he's being raised by his aunt, good job on raising a well stand-up young man. He had big dreams of attending college after being recognized as a Missouri Scholar academically alumni in 2022. The alleged gunman, who had not been identified, was taken into custody soon after the incident and to give a statement, but was later released pending further investigation. Police obtained the firearm that was used in the incident, but have explained their delay in bringing charges against the homeowner because they are waiting for the teen to make his own statement as to what happened. The release of the gunman did not sit well with civil rights attorney Lee Merritt, who stated in a tweet on Sunday morning, "Ralph is fighting for his life. The man must be arrested. We are on our way." Isn't it funny how right away if it's a white person shooting a black person, there's always a lawyer sitting there waiting to jump on this to collect a lawsuit check. That's one of the things that this country has come to in any aspect of it. There's always an attorney waiting to collect a check. There's always somebody waiting to jump on this to collect that wonderful check instead of waiting for the facts to fall out, right away jumping on and saying racism. That's my problem with that, with these people, not this story, but with people, is instead of waiting for facts to come out, they right away want to jump on the lawsuit train. They right away want to come out and bring charges against somebody. They right away want to come out and bring a lawsuit against somebody instead of waiting for the facts to come out. We don't know what happened. We don't know what words were expressed. It's between two people. Unfortunately, one is fighting for his life, and I pray and hope he comes out of it. And I'm not going to make my opinion on whether the man's a racist or this guy is a hoodlum or whatever. I'm going to wait for the facts to come out. I feel bad for both parties, especially for the wife of this 80-year-old man and his kids and his grandkids, because right away they're going to surround his house, which they've already done.
The teen was transported to a local hospital for his injuries. The homeowner was taken into custody and placed on a 24-hour investigative hold. Detectives and crime scene personnel immediately responded, processed the scene, and recovered the firearm. After consulting with the Clay County Prosecutor's Office, the homeowner was released pending further investigation due to the need to obtain a formal statement from the victim, forensic evidence, and compile additional information for a case file to be presented. A formal statement is planned and forthcoming as a teen's injuries allow. A person can be held up for 24 hours for investigation of a felony, at which time they're required by Missouri law to be charged or released. The vast majority of cases, to include violent crime, involve the suspect being released pending further investigation. In this case, the prosecutor requires more information from investigators that would take more than 24 hours to compile. Throughout the weekend, investigators have worked to gather requested information and details. They have been in touch with the prosecutors. As soon as a case is complete, it will be presented to the Clay County prosecutors for their review. We recognize the frustration this can cause in the entire criminal justice process. The women and men of the Kansas City Police Department are working as expeditiously and as thoroughly as we can to ensure the criminal justice process continues to advance as quickly as all involved and our community deserve. Detectives have been working over the past several days to compile a detailed case file so they have all the information they need to make the best charging decision on the case moving forward. We want the community to know that we are committed to justice in this case and every case, and work every day to seek that justice for all victims of all crimes. Investigators have been in touch with the family of the victim in this case and updated them on the status of the investigation and the process moving forward. I want everyone to know that I'm listening and I understand the concern that we are receiving from the community.
There's no reason right now to wait to start protesting. There's no reason right now to start destroying your city. Let's wait for the facts to come out. Let's wait. We don't know what happened until there's maybe the old man had a Ring doorbell that we could get the information from. And if it was racism, I would be the first to jump on it and say, this man deserves to go to prison. This guy deserves to get thrown locked up and throw away the key. Whatever time he has left, because he's 80. He don't got much time left. I would be the first to jump on that. But until we know exactly what transpired, I'm not going to call somebody a racist. Graves explained how detectives were working to compile forensic evidence and to take the informal statement from Ralph before deciding whether to bring charges. She assured the community that the police department was committed to justice in this case. Graves said the KCPD will forward this case to the Clay County Prosecutor's Office to determine what charges, if any, be brought. Because I think Missouri has a castle law and stand my ground law. So there might not even be charges brought against this man because we don't know what happened. Despite such assurances, hundreds of protesters have already turned up outside the alleged gunman's home, demanding immediate justice. Ralph's family described him as a fantastic child who dreamt of attending Texas A&M for chemical engineering. Ralph can be found with his musical instrument. He loves them all. She noted how it was a miracle that her nephew was alive.
So I've gotten a lot of DMs from people wondering how they can help. The only help that I need and that my family needs right now is to get attention on this situation. I want to get as much light shine on this situation as we can possibly get, because the man that looked my nephew in the eye, pulled out a gun and shot him in the head, and then when he fell down, shot him again, is currently at his house living his best life. And my nephew is in the hospital bed. Yes, he is alive, thank you God. But we don't need to wait for Black boys to die for us to say enough is enough. We don't need for them to not be able to move in order for us to say enough is enough. An attack on one Black child is an attack on every single Black kid, because at the end of the day, they only see one thing. And the fact that we know deep down, if it was any other way, if this was a Black man, if this was my daddy, he would not be standing in front of his house with a new glass door cleaning up the staircase. I don't know if that was him cleaning up the staircase or if it was a neighbor cleaning up the staircase. But there was a comment made by the neighbor in the news report that Fox 4KC reported. We look out for each other. Who are we looking out for? Because my nephew ran from door to door. So who are we looking out for? Not the 16-year-old boy. No, not him. I just watched a news report on what happened last night to my nephew. And in the report, you can see the house where he got shot. The glass door that the guy shot him through has been replaced. The individual, I don't know if it is him or if it is a neighbor, someone is in front of the house cleaning up the shattered glasses. No arrests have been made. Y'all. And all I can think is, if that was a Black man that has shot a white kid, will that Black man be standing in front of his house cleaning up glasses?
I'm gonna be real right now. This was a ridiculous clip. I understand you're grieving. I understand the situation that you're going through, but you cannot sit there and be mad at a man for cleaning up some glass through his window. You can't be mad at that. He's got to clean the mess. He can't just leave a broken window there. It's common sense. Get out of here with that. Ralph, and then another story. They've already I don't really like to push GoFundMe's, but they have opened a GoFundMe, and if you guys want to donate to the GoFundMe for this young man, because he's probably going to need a lot of help, the GoFundMe link will be down in the description. If you feel like it's in your heart to donate, please donate to him. That's one of the things I feel heartbroken for, is that these people have already started going after this man's family. They've already started going after all this, and to me, there's so much more that we can do as a people. We could sit back and wait for these facts. If this man is a demon, like an evil person, like this lady's saying that he is, then yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll all be the first to jump on it. Charge him, lock him up, throw away the key. But I'm not one of these people that likes to jump to conclusions. I like to wait for all the facts to come out. I don't like to sit there and be that YouTuber who starts calling for justice out of the blue. That's one thing I as a conservative, I'm about, is just waiting for all the facts to fall, because they're gonna find out everything that there needs to know. And when Ralph comes out of this coma, he's able to speak, he's gonna be able to tell his side of the story, and then they'll bring charges against him. But with the castle doctrine that they have in Missouri, I don't want to sit there and make promises to people that they're gonna file charges against this man when the castle doctrine is so strong. He knocked on his door. So it's important that I maintain and just say charges may not be brought. It may not happen. And again, all I ask for, man, if anybody watching this, is just to wait for all the facts before you start calling somebody terrible names. Let's wait to find out. This may not have been a racist thing, because you got to remember the times that we're living in. People are ringing on doors and punching people. There's people getting punched walking down the street. It's a bad time to live in. And I can see from an 80-year-old man's perspective that this might be just an scared old man. It could be just as simple as that. And he should have been a lot smarter with his gun. I mean, worst, I would say second-degree murder. There's no reason for a first-degree murder charge on this, until we find out maybe they had a conversation and he did kill him for whatever reason, for his racism or whatever. But again, I don't want to say anything about racism until we know the facts on the entire story. That's it. It's as simple as that. Again, if you like my topics, go ahead and let me smash that like button and subscribe to this channel. We'll see where this goes. And my prayers go out to young Ralph. And again, the GoFundMe link will be down in the description if you want to donate to the family and to his needs. I hope y'all have a good day. God bless. And as always, deuces.